Matt, bit of time to reflect on the game at the weekend, and we're now at training this evening. What's your thoughts now the game's unfold, and how are we moving forward?
Yeah, I think my opinion hasn't changed of Monday, but having had time to reflect on it in terms of, I thought there's a number of variables that play into the fact of a poor performance. Having said that, like I say, I said it on the day, you've got to give Beckenham credit as well, because obviously they played well and they had one or two individuals that came and performed extremely well. And they scored a couple of goals which from our part were poor, but from their part were good. So look, I think we've now moved forward. We've got loads of stuff that we need to get into the players tonight in terms of some tactical information. It's a totally different game against Hastings, and that's the sole focus now is Hastings. Obviously, we've got a busy period now, 4 cup games in a row, but nothing more important than the FA Cup. Hopefully a big crowd, and like I say, we know quite a bit about Hastings as they do about us. Obviously, we faced each other a few weeks ago. I think it'll be a really good game of football. I think it'll allow us to express ourselves in a different way to that we could at the weekend, and we're looking forward to it. So, like I say, we've got plenty of work to get done tonight, and hopefully that obviously helps us get a positive result of the weekend. But look, at the end of the day, the boys are in buoyant mood. They've come in. Look, there's no point in sulking. We don't need to go over and over and over it. It was a poor performance, but we were on the back of a 5-1 win and a 2-0 win, and it was probably just one game too far for us. And you have to, like I say, you have to give credit to Beckenham as well.
We obviously switched the attention now. So what's the plan going into a team that's at our level and then playing a team that's higher up, where you would think they probably would have a bit more domination over the game, a bit more quality? How do you take the view on it that a higher grader team compared to a team in your own league?
No, look, I think at the end of the day, we wouldn't treat any game any differently, no different to when we played Stansfield. But what we will have is a few more problems to solve on the pitch. And I think that's some of the stuff that we'll go through tonight. But tactically, I think that myself and Coyley are capable of working at the higher levels. And I feel that we can combat what Craig Stone and Paul Barnes are going to offer. Individually, will they have better players than us? They should have, because they're at a higher level. Tactically, should they be in front of us because they're at a higher level? Yeah, because they're working at a higher level than we are. But I'll back ourselves that tactically we can try and put a plan in place. Then it's down to us and the players to execute that plan, and make sure that we need performances right across the pitch, which I think was lacking against Beckenham. And being a new team, there's quite a lot of information to get into the players. We're going to train tonight, and then we'll do some analysis and stuff after training. So yeah, look, it's a tougher test because tactically we're playing against a team that started well in the league above. Having said that, in fairness, in our division now, there's quite a lot of tactical teams that try and play, and there's some extremely good players in some of the teams that we play against. So yeah, physically and tactically it should be a higher test, but it's one that we're looking forward to, and one that I'm confident that myself and Coyley and the rest of the staff can match.
Now, this one is a bit of a curveball to you, because obviously we're in the end of the transfer window for league teams, Premier League teams. Obviously in non-league, it goes throughout the window really up until February. So February, March, sorry. Give us a little bit of insight onto how a non-league transfer works, because I know this is a really hot topic at the world, at the moment with transfers. So how does it normally work in the world of non-league? I know we've got a few different players being looked at here, as always, but talk to us through the process through that.
Yeah, look, I mean, I've had it at various clubs. When you've got a smaller budget, you have players taken from you on a regular basis. When you've got a medium budget, it doesn't happen quite so often, and when you've got a decent budget, it doesn't really happen at all. Also, you're looking at contracted players. We've got 1 or 2 on contract for obvious reasons. Would we like to have more? Yeah, but we've got to build as a club, and that's something that has to happen. And obviously the bigger clubs, the higher levels you go, the more contract players there are, the less turnover there is. But at the level that we're at, there does tend to be a higher level of turnover. We've had a couple of players leave due to personal reasons this week, which is again no issue for me at all. When people can't commit to what we expect and the kind of expectations of the club and the level and the team and myself and the staff, I've got no issue with that when people can't meet what we were looking for because of things that are outside of football. And we're looking to now bring 1 or 2 in to obviously accompany that, which we'll do hopefully tonight with people that are in the background. Fingers crossed we can get 1 or 2 bits over the line, and they'll come into the squad ready for Sunday.
Moving on to Sunday, massive game in the FA Cup, won a massive crowd. I know as well we've just released our academy initiative, and we've got a really good youth team behind us who are over on the Astro at the moment. Club's building. What are the expectations for Sunday with people coming through the doors, and also the expectations for the academy that we're now building?
Yeah, look, with the academy, obviously it's going to be heavily run by myself, so it gives me a great chance to interact with the youth section. Vast amount of the kids that are going to be booked on the academy will come from our own youth section. Those that don't, obviously it gives us an opportunity about advertising the youth section we have here. It's a fantastic facility at Footscray with the pitches, the grass pitches, the 3G. It gives us a base to train and play from as a whole club, which is again fantastic, and credit to the work that have gone in from the youth section, and then obviously knitting the whole thing together with myself and obviously the board members. So that's a great thing that we're looking to get off the ground, which will be off the ground from a couple of weeks' time in September. We've got 12 of our under-12s coming in as mascots and ball boys at the weekend, which again ties and knits in the club as a whole, and is important moving forward and growing, and that helps obviously the crowds, which again are growing and getting bigger and better. So as a whole, look, it's great. It's obviously, look, it's an exciting tie. It's at home. It's against one of the really well supported clubs in the league above. Fantastic football club, Hastings. Like I say, good management team. We've got some really experienced players. So it's a great game for us to be involved in, but we're not just here to be involved in it. We want to try and win the game. Will that be a tough ask? Absolutely. But again, like, it's no different at every level. You want to pit yourselves against the better teams, the better clubs, and it's a club that I've got, like I say, I've got great admiration of, great support base, and they're probably a club where we need to be looking at where we want to try and get to.
Just the last question as well, with the massive cup games we have coming. So we have FA Cup, FA Trophy, we have London Senior, Kent Cup, all those kind of cups. Will you be looking to rotate the squad during that time as well?
I think we're going to have to, because it's early in the season, so we can't play the same players all the time. So I think it's going to be vitally important that we do utilise the squad, which is hence the reason we've got to look at bringing one or two in, and also look at the under-18s and under-23s and utilise some of them as well as part of them squads. So look, the focus is fully on Hastings. Once we get through that, then we'll look at the Kent Senior Cup, and once we get through that, we'll look at the trophy, and once we get through that, we'll look at the Velocity, and we get through that, and then we'll back to the league, and then into the Kent Senior and into the London Senior. So look, it's one game at a time. I think it's a cliche saying, but I think we just need to firmly focus on the game on Sunday, and after that, then we'll look at it and decide what we do from there.
Thank you, Matt.
No worries, thanks.